emptiness, you know? And when I felt that emptiness, um, that's when I started to dig deeper. Like, what can I what why am I feeling this emptiness? I'm doing whatever I want to do. I had money, you know, I had it all. I had it. But when I felt that emptiness, it was like I needed to dig deeper. And that's when I started to really tap into the spiritual, you know, to really help me come to the realization that it's not about what I can see, it's not about what I can touch, it's not about what I can acquire. It's really about, you know, just the foundational thing that being a daughter of God. I'm a spiritual being, and therefore happiness has to start spiritually. And you talked about, you know, for the people who do have, you know, wealth, materialistic wealth, and they may have awesome relationships. They may even have, you know, all types of success and fame and power and all of those things. But back to the point that I made, you're leaving happiness on the table when you're not really connected to your God given purpose and that relationship with God. Because, like, that's been the ultimate thrill of my life, right? Being
Mm-hmm.
able to have conversation and experiences with the God of the universe, that's a thriller, you know, like, and I've had some like really spiritual experiences where it's not just a still quiet voice, and it's not just a revelation from studying the scripture, but real experience with God that has made me realize that there's no man, there's no thing, there's no amount of money that can make me as happy as he can.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I even got to a place where even in the church, I was in a church, you know, I was married to a minister. We were traveling. I'm a singer, so I was leading praise and worship service. I was teaching. You know, we traveled for vacation. It was kind of like this picture perfect thing from the outside looking in. But
Mm-hmm.
then I still start to feel this empty feeling after a while. And that was because um it was not, my life was not truly aligned with my purpose. And now that I'm aligned with my purpose, like, you know, I'm not saying everything is peaches and cream and just perfect, but I have a joy inside of me. I have a happiness inside of me that is not situational. And when I do feel off, because I will say, you know, I have off seasons where I battle with depression or I battle with overwhelm and all of those things.
That's
But
right.
because I have, you know, this relationship with God, He's helping me to navigate through the rough seasons to be able to tap into that spiritual happiness, that spiritual joy again.
Hmm. We've and this what everything that you were saying was wonderful. I had a little issue with Facebook for whatever reason.
Okay.
It timed out, so everything is on our YouTube channel. I was listening to everything. I don't know. Every time that we try to do certain things that are well, I always have some kind of glitch, but that's not gonna ever stop us from going forth. So everything is on our YouTube page and our Instagram page. So again, Facebook, I apologize, but this is what we have to do. We have to just improvise. We have to go forth, and we're going to do it.
Yeah.
So she was just stating to all of us a little bit about her background. I'll just tell you a little bit of mine very quickly because I want to have a good flow. Like I said, I grew up in church. Um, I went to a wonderful ministry. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's my home church back in Syracuse. A lot of people know where it's at. Um, loved the place. It was great, but there are times that I feel like I wasn't good enough. If
Mhm.
I didn't dress a certain way, if I didn't have my tie on, if I didn't have the suit on, if I didn't act like everybody else, then I felt like at times I was ostracized. I felt that I was insignificant. Then I went to another church and I was doing well there, but like I started to feel empty. Have you ever felt empty, y'all? Have you ever felt like I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. This is tough for me, feeling, like I said, ostracized, feeling out of place. So talking about not being happy, there were times that I was just going just to appease my leaders. A lot of times I was just going to just appease them and just do what is asked of me to do, and then leave and then still feel empty, to the place that I got tired of that. I don't know if you guys feel like that a lot of times in your life, and in your life with your family, you're feeling unfulfilled, whether it's in the church, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in a friendship. You don't feel balance. Things are not balanced in your life. You're feeling low about yourself. You're feeling low about how somebody treated you or how you allowed them to treat you. And like I said, remember, we're talking about true happiness, being truly happy with yourself. At that particular time, I know that I wasn't, Natalia. I know that I wasn't truly happy. I just was going because that's what I was taught. Even though you might not like certain things, you just keep going. You don't stop. And I got to the place that I had to, because I was at a crossroad. It's either I'm going to continue to believe in God, not just attend church, but really, really see and know who God is for myself, or I was just going to just be a normal citizen, and I'm being so serious, just be a normal citizen and just live my life, give my offering to the Lord, and not do nothing in church, or not even go, and just do online. And I know we're in a place now of online church, and I totally understand
Mhm.
the significance of it. But at that time, I just knew, I'm like, I don't know if I really want to do this anymore, because
Yeah,
again, I was not happy. I
yeah,
wasn't happy with myself. I was doing certain things, and when I wanted to go do something else, I'm being pulled to do 3 services or 4 services, and on one Sunday, and I can't travel.
right.
And if something is something I want to do, I couldn't do it because that church service was going on, or that speaker was coming. And because I was in leadership, I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do. And
Yeah,
again, I'm not bad mouthing anybody, but my 37-year-old self is talking to you now about my 15, 17, 19, and 20-year-old, 21-year-old self. I didn't know I could speak up. I didn't even know that I had a voice. And a lot of you don't even know that you have a voice. A lot of you don't even know that you can speak up. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be nasty, but you have a voice to speak up and say, you know what? I feel incomplete. I don't feel balanced. I don't feel balanced. And a lot of times when we don't feel balanced, it's because we're missing elements. We're missing pieces. Going back to having that prestige, having that power, having that everybody knows you, and that's wonderful. But when the lights are out, when the mics are gone, when the job is closed, your phone is off, the FaceTime is off, where's your true happiness?
and that's what I
Where is
was
it?
gonna
Go
say,
ahead.
David. Like, you know, you can't have a full life, right? You can have a full life. Come on. You can't have
That's
a
her
full.
child. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
we all good.
we snuck her over here.
That's all
So
right.
you can't have a full life. You can't be busy. You can't be doing things that you think are supposed to bring you happiness, right? You can't be doing what you think is the right thing to do spiritually.
Right.
You can't be you can't have the look, you can't have the talk, you can have all of those roles and positions and all of these activities that you think is the right way. But when you settle down, like you said, and have that quiet time, stop the rat race. I call it the rat race or the hamster wheel.
Mm-hmm.
When you slow down from that, what is your spirit saying?
That's
Are
right.
you truly happy? You're full, but are you fulfilled? Are you fulfilled? Is what God gave you being activated, the true gifts that he's giving you? Because a lot of people are operating in, other things that they've trained themselves to do, or they, have learned to do in church. But is it really, really, really what God wants you to do, and in the timing that God wants you to do it in?
Yeah.
No,
Is she saying hi?
yeah, she is.
Let me say hi to her. It's okay. Let me
Her
say
hair is
hi.
wild.
She won't be on camera. That's
Yeah,
okay.
let me do her
Hi.
hair. Let me do her. Yeah. So
Yeah, but that's one of the things that, and I hope so. We're talking about, so this is why I said this is a special power session tonight. I know I'm big on your self-esteem and your confidence, and I think that's a wonderful thing that we do every Thursday. But tonight is about your spiritual growth as well as your natural growth.
yeah,
And really truly being happy within. So we're talking about how to truly be happy with yourself naturally, right? But also spiritually. You
right.
gotta have that spiritual component. And
Yeah.
I have Miss Natalia Powers. We had a little glitch with Facebook, and she was supposed to be on our live feed for our Instagram, but I'm hoping that you guys can hear what she's saying, and I'm commentating on what she is saying as well. So again, we apologize for the inconvenience of that. But she's making she wanted to make, you wanted to make another point as well.
Well, I mean that's pretty much it. Like I I in essence, you cannot separate true happiness
Hmm.
from fulfillment of your purpose, because God has given us an inherent desire. And it and that desire may be masked because of um what we've acclimated to in this world, right?
Hmm. Right.
But we have an inherent desire to be connected to him and to fulfill what he created us to do, the work that he's created us to do. And when we're disconnected from that, then we're disconnected from true happiness.
Hmm.
And so while you may be happy or comfortable, naturally speaking, you have relationships, you have money, you have influence, you have all of those things that are okay to desire. If you are not connected to the eternal impact that God created us to have, then you're leaving happiness on the table. You're leaving a level of depth un, untapped into, you know?
Hmm.
And so and it's not even just about purpose and doing, what God created you to do. It's the happiness that just comes from being connected to your spiritual father, your creator.
That's right.
So I mean, there's no way to separate those things in my book, of truth.
That's good. So what I'm going to try to do now. This is a live show, but I don't mind improvising. So because you're saying some really good things. So I was wondering, did you get my invite from Instagram?
Let me see.
Y'all give me one moment because she's spitting some fire, and I really want you guys to get it.
Let's
Y'all
see.
can talk about me later. All right.
All right. So I am on, but
Okay.
hopefully the sound is okay.
Okay. Good. 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 Wonderful.
Okay. Hold on. Let me situate it. 1 second.
Okay. Give us one moment, guys. Every time that we try to improvise tonight, been a little bit of issue. So we're just going to work through it. Again, I apologize for all of this. This is all my fault. I'll take the blame.
All right. Here we go.
All right.
All right.
I think this
Hopefully
will be good.
it's okay. Okay.
Can everybody hear her? Can you guys give me a thumbs up or a heart? You know what? Put your Instagram on mute. Let's try that.
I got some heart. So okay. Let's see.
Okay, I think that might be better. I think we got it.
She said there's a reverb.
Can you hear the reverb now?
Can you hear it now, Natalia?
I just want to make sure that you can hear her clear because I think that might have worked.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
We'll see.
Okay. So my next question is, and I know we kind of going up and down, but my next question is, what are some things that you see from people that you know that struggle with being happy, successful, etc.? Like, what do you think are some of the things, like practical things that you might see, spiritual, but also practical, that you see people struggle to really be happy with themselves?
Well, okay. I am really delving deep into the concept of boundaries.
Okay.
And this is another point that I wanted to call out, that in order to truly be happy, you have to understand boundaries,
Okay.
right?
Right.
So and this is so it's so deep, but I'm gonna try to summarize it as best as I can.
Sure.
I'm doing a book club on Changes That Heal by Dr. Henry Cloud, and it's over a year-long book club. But basically, the concept of boundaries is the ability to own what is truly yours. Okay, so if you're happy, you should be able to own your happiness and express your happiness. If you're upset or mad about something, you should be able to own that, express it, and do what you need to do to get in a better position. But when you get into sticky relationships, I'll put it like that. When you get into sticky relationships where you're being manipulated, or where you're being um, uh, hushed or oppressed from being able to own what is truly yours to own, that's going to interfere with your happiness.
That's
God
right.
built us with emotions. He built us with an internal red flags, right? Which
That's
are
right.
our emotions, which are our anger, our frustration, our sadness, and all of those things. And so when those alerts go off and we're hushed, or we try to pray over them, or we try to, pretend and deny that that's how we're feeling, then we're interfering with our ability to truly be happy, or
That's
to
right.
be in a position to be happy. And
Mhm.
so practical things that people get into that make them miserable often stems from childhood, where they were not able to express themselves, where
Yeah.
they were not able to say, I don't like to eat that, or I don't like when you call me those names, or I don't like I don't like to do that particular activity. And so when you're not able to express yourself as a child, you carry on those same patterns in your relationships as an adult, with authority figures, with your boss, with your church leaders, with a husband and wife, or with siblings, or with an overbearing mother or dad. And so all of those types of boundary issues are going to interfere with your happiness.
I love that.
So
That's
that's another one.
As Dr. Darius Daniel said, put some fire in the chat for that, because that was heavy. And some of you are dealing with that continuously. You dealing with that and you 40. You dealing with that and you 55.
Yes.
Some of you got kids, grandkids, husbands, wives, got careers, and you are still dealing with that unhappiness. And a
Yes.
lot of, like she said, and I love what you said, sis, a lot of this, not everything, but a lot of this stems from childhood. Not being able to talk, being abused. Now, yes, we know physical abuse and sexual abuse is horrible things, but that
Right.
emotional abuse, that
Yes.
thing it stings. It stays with you
And David, it
for a
might
long
not
time.
even
Yeah.
be like intentional abuse. It
And
might
then
just be,
right,
bad parenting practices because they didn't know any better,
right. They
you know?
didn't know.
And so in order to really be happy, we have to learn how to listen to ourselves.
Right,
Listen to ourselves. Trust what we're feeling,
right,
right?
right.
Sit in what we're feeling
Mm-hmm.
and really dig into those feelings of unhappiness or loneliness or frustration or anger and try to put context around it, put truth around it to see what's off and what do I need to do? What boundaries do I need to put on myself? That's another
Say
practical.
that. Oh, that's right there. Putting the boundaries where they need to be, or not even knowing where to put them. You know that you need some boundaries, right?
Yes,
Everybody, you know you need some boundaries, but you might not even know where to place them because you weren't taught where to place them,
yes,
right?
yes.
Keep
And
going, keep
and
going.
don't forget the boundaries that we have to put on ourselves. That's another huge thing.
Huge one, right?
Like I call our relationship with ourselves the most neglected relationship.
I love
Because
that.
oftentimes we are trying to make everybody else happy,
Yeah.
or we're trying to use other people to make us happy because there are
Mhm.
two extremes of people, one an aggressor and one that accepts all of the aggressive, the aggression.
That's
And
right.
so if you're on the other extreme, you can not have enough boundaries on yourself to not use people,
Mhm.
right? Or to be safe. The other thing is like when it comes to putting boundaries on yourself, it's like the way you spend money, your
Right,
diet, the
right,
different things that you do, all of those affect your true happiness if you
right.
don't know how to put those boundaries in place with yourself and with others.
Yeah. That's so good. And like and then in a lot of this, if we don't put things in them into boundaries, we'll feel we will feel, we'll start to feel insignificant. We
Yes.
will start to feel not wanted. And where does that lead to? Rejection. I
Yes.
just talked about this yesterday in my other live that I did. Just rejection, because that feeling of wanting that happiness. Because remember, going back to that, wanting that happiness, wanting that, yes, that success. But a lot of times when we think about success a lot of times doesn't even have to do with money. I'll let that sit there just for a moment because it blessed me
Listen,
when I was thinking
you
about it.
you pushing a button right there because that's another thing that like I always talk about. True success
Mm,
is true love.
yeah,
Okay? Like if you really want to experience holistic success, then it goes right back to knowing who God is and why it's so important to pursue him relentlessly.
right.
That's true love. And then, true love for ourselves again.
Gotta have
If
it.
you want true success, we have to learn how to love ourselves and
So
how not
let me.
to stretch ourselves too thin.
So again, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I hear you, sis.
Mhm.
Wonderful words. but I felt like I was never loved. My father didn't love me, but he was in the house. Or my mother was there, but I didn't feel the love. They gave that to my sister. They
Mm.
gave that to my brother. Oh, I got one. They gave it to the church more than me. They gave
Yes.
more
Good.
time and effort and gifting to the church. And here's the thing, I'm not saying that is a bad thing, but I've been a part. I know I'm going to get some clout, but guess what? I really do not care.
You're telling
I
the truth.
have gotten to the place, sis, and everybody, that I had to tell my parents one time, do something for yourself.
Yeah.
Simply do something for yourself. Give yourself a chance to go out and enjoy yourself. And I'm not saying that they did it, but I feel like there were moments that they could have been on a vacation. They could have went in something as a couple, but
Yeah.
church was just so pressing. If you weren't there, you didn't love God. And if you weren't there, you weren't a part of the kingdom of God. I don't know if y'all ever been in that place, because my parents were leaders, and then they birthed a leader like myself. So I started taking on, as a young man with my own wife, taking on the role like they did in a different church in a different place, but
Me
feeling that
too.
feeling. Do you understand what I'm saying? Feeling that
Right.
feeling of, again, emptiness. Where's my
Yeah.
true happiness coming from? Because this
Because
is
you're not
not.
taking care of yourself and your own. And that
Yeah.
was the same thing for me. I
Hmm.
was the one
Hmm.
that was trying to, work full time, be a mom, go to a trillion church services, dragging my kids, and because we were the first couple for the time, be the last ones to close the door. And I realized
Oh
that,
God.
listen, this is not true love. This is stretching ourselves and our children and our family
Too
way
much.
too thin. Our first ministry is home.
Oh, stay right there. Don't move. Talk about that, because your mom. You know what I mean. You were in leadership with your ex. Can you kind of talk about that for just a moment?
Yes.
That piece right there, because I think that really needs to be brought out.
Listen, okay, before I get overwhelmed and forget, I want to make 2 points,
Please do.
because this is the thing. Happiness starts at home.
Mm,
Home is supposed to be our first ministry, but a
yes.
lot of people use ministry to run away from home, to literally run away from home, just like
Love it.
work. Just like you use work, you don't want to deal with the emotional issues at home. And the word is clear that before you can be an effective leader, you have to know how to take care of home.
That's right.
And this is something that God really spoke to me about and keeps convicting me about it. Okay. Because I'm not going to say I got the balance correct. Okay.
Mhm,
But if home is out of order, right? And
mhm.
I'm putting too much energy. I'm just gonna keep it real and speak about me. If I'm putting too much work at home and trying to do this and trying to do that, again, I'm missing. I'm leaving happiness, true happiness, on the table.
That's right.
Because really, as a parent, our true happiness should be dependent on how happy our children are and
That's right.
how balanced home is. And
Yes.
so, one thing that God showed me is when you do keep things balanced and when you do keep your first things first, He gives you this level of sweetness or richness
Yes.
simply from the exchange between you and your children. And which this sweetness and this richness that you get from focusing on your priorities, keeping first things first, that's really what the world needs.
Right. Right.
But we try to shortcut it and take to the world something that we have not harvested for ourselves.
That's right.
The true harvest comes from the fruit that you bear in your relationships at home. And
That's
when
right.
you have an abundance of joy, an abundance of revelation, an abundance of, love in your relationships, that's what's supposed to spill over into your ministry to the world.
That's right.
So we can't, if we really want to have true success, we really want to have true happiness,
Yeah.
we have to take care of home, because God is a God of order.
Hmm. But
You know,
what if somebody say, yes, God is a God of order, but he commissioned me to do all the things that I'm doing in this ministry to the best of my ability, and my wife or my husband, they're just gonna have to understand because I'm on assignment for God. Now, I've heard that.
I
Listen to me.
know.
I have heard that, and somebody told that to me. Newly married, newly being somebody's father, building this family, and then you tell me, well, your wife is gonna have to understand you're a high leadership.
So this is another thing. By merit of position alone. Okay, this is something that I learned. By merit of position alone, being a wife, you are supposed to have a level of intimacy and presence from your husband, and
Mhm.
vice versa.
Right,
You're supposed to
right.
have a level of intimacy and presence and happiness in that shared relationship alone. But
That's
if
good.
God called you to the streets, to the ministry, then that spouse is suffering because they don't have the level of intimacy and presence that they should be entitled to by position alone. And you
Mhm.
know what's going to happen?
Say it.
Depression, detachment, confusion,
Yep.
all of those things in your home because you don't have your priorities straight.
Mhm.
Loneliness, you're not supposed to be lonely when you're
Mm-mm.
married.
When you're married, you shouldn't be. You
You're
shouldn't be.
not supposed to feel like a single parent when you're married.
Mhm. And I
No.
had to wise up though, sis. I had to wise up, and I had to understand. And I'll be honest, there were times that my wife wanted more time, and I didn't understand what she was looking for until I sat down and talked to her.
Yes.
Literally, just had a conversation, not an argument. So
Right.
two different things. Let me
Yes.
make that very clear. Have a conversation versus an argument. No, I sat her down. She said what she needed to say to me, and I listened.
Yes.
That's a whole nother segment we might have to go
Because what
through.
you could have been
Mhm,
was defensive, right?
mhm.
And be like, oh, you just tripping. You don't understand the call on my life, and blaming and pointing the finger. But because you sat down and you listened, you felt her heart
Yeah,
that something is missing,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And it has to be like that because whether you are in ministry or you're attending a ministry or a church, or you have a entrepreneurship, whatever, you
Yeah.
have to learn how to give your spouse that not time,
Mhm.
valuable time, valuable time.
And
Because
David,
I can give time, I can do that. But is it valued? Is your phone down? Now I'll tell them myself, and I'm throwing it back to you. I love my phone. I'm an Apple fanatic. I need my iPhone. I need my snack. I'm good. But there were times my wife needed my time other than my phone,
yeah,
other than me playing music in the ministry or traveling with the pastor or teaching young people, which I love to do.
yes,
But I had somebody said this, you felt her heart. Yeah, I felt it
yeah,
without her even saying something to me. I felt, and I said, if I really want her to be happy, and this is another thing, if I want her to support me like she's supposed to, because
yeah.
we're saying this, right? I
Mhm.
have to give her the time that is valuable. So there's no phone. And because I had a problem with that, like I said, but I said, you know what? I got to put the phone down.
Yes.
I can't take any messages right now. I
Yes.
can't work on my business right now.
Boundaries with that
I
phone.
have to give her that time, because if we're going back to being truly happy, there are certain things that you got to do, that you have to make a decision to
Right.
do. I'll say it again, a decision or a choice, however you want to put it, to make. And this is a whole nother segment I think we need to do, talking about, marriage and relationships, because
Yeah.
about being happy, because there's a lot of people in the kingdom
Mm-hmm.
that appear to be happy. They put up wonderful pictures,
Yeah.
beautiful pictures.
Yes.
But when they get off that camera, when they get off that mic,
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand her. I
Um,
don't want to be around her. He don't never spend no time with me. I feel like I'm feel like I'm alone, and he comes home. And this is another thing. You can literally come home every single night, lay in the same bed, and feel disconnected. Now I could just wrap it up right there and be
come on
gone.
now. And you can be getting it in too. Can I say that too?
No, just keep it real. Just keep it
Doing
real.
the do and all of that every single night and still be lonely because the emotional intimacy
Mhm.
is missing.
Now I want to ask you this, because I know we're kind of running out of time. Again, thank you everyone on all our social media platforms for sticking with us. I know we're going into the almost 10 o'clock hour, or however, whatever time that is, but thank you so much for your patience. We're actually going to do this again. She's phenomenal, isn't she, y'all? I want to get her on here again. I have about two or three more questions, and I really want to get your perspective. So name one time, you don't have to go into it fully if you don't want to, but
Okay.
name one time that you weren't truly happy with yourself. And what did you do? That's the second part. What did you do to get yourself to be happy?
Man, I kind of touched it already,
Mhm.
but I will say the most unhappy I felt was when I thought I should be happy.
Mm.
Because
Say
again,
that again. Say
because
that
I
again.
thought I should be happy because I thought I had what I wanted and what
Mhm.
I needed. And I felt so unhappy because it wasn't adding up. Like things were not adding up. Okay.
Yeah.
So, again, being married, having two children, working in corporate, earning over six figures, being able to really living in surplus financially,
Mhm.
and just felt like I should have it all,
Right.
and even operating in ministry and, thinking that I had it all in the spiritual, the natural, the relationships, and all of that.
Right.
But not being able to own my desires, my dreams, because it wasn't a woman's place to
Oh,
desire those things as a
wow.
wife,
Wow.
or
That's
and
heavy.
so what did I do? It took me a while to stop praying over it, and just stuffing it um under prayer and submission and
Mhm.
you know being at peace with everybody.
Yes.
It took me a while to own the frustration that I was feeling. It took me a while to own the anger that I was feeling. It took me a while to break up the false peace.
Yeah.
And really, I just started saying no. I just started saying no to the trillion church services. I started saying
Right.
no
Yep.
to giving my all and not being reciprocated in various things, like not just not even just in the marriage, but in the whole community and association that I was a part of. I just began to say no,
Yep.
because when I start saying no, guess what? That
Mhm.
gave me the room, that gave me the space
Yes, it
to
opens you up.
really hear from God about what I needed to be doing, what I needed to be pursuing to really, really, really be happy. I was full, but I was not fulfilled.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to say no so that I could really hear from God and oh Lord, she calling somebody.
That's all right. Call
She's
them, baby. That's
so
good.
yeah, so I don't know. Baby, that's not that.
It's all right. Now this is the realness. This is why I said this is the
Yeah.
special tonight.
So
Now,
yes.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh,
Finish
I
your
was
thought.
just, just gonna finish it like,
Mhm.
just to throw it back out to everybody else. Sometimes
Yeah.
you have to start saying no to
Yes.
get unfull, right? And
Yes.
to really hear from God and feel God and see what it is, what direction is God taking you into so that you can be fulfilled.
Yeah, because and I love what you said because this is just the example analogy that I just got. You can hear so many other people's voices that it
Yes,
becomes wax to what God is saying,
yes,
to the place that you can't even hear him clearly. So then you gotta turn off the noise. You gotta turn it all the way down. You gotta
yeah,
turn, like I'm reading this book called Soundtracks. You gotta turn that soundtrack of everybody else's voices. You gotta turn it down. You gotta take that wax it's been built up so you can hear what the Lord is saying to you for your next, not just your next one move, but for the next several moves for your life. And it's so important that you do that because that's where the true happiness comes. It's not in your money, it's not in your investments, it's not in your properties, it's not in even in your six figures, and that's wonderful. But it's in you really finding the true happiness within and not what you have in your hand, but what you have inside.
yes,
Um
yes.
Now, before we let, because we're out of time, but again, thank you so much. Thank you, Natalia. Thank you so much. You are awesome, awesome sister. She is my new sister now, so I'm adopting her as my new sister. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your daughter as well. Am I right?
Yeah.
um Being there, being with us on this live. Listen, do me a favor, share this on your page, share this with someone. Help someone out tonight to be truly, truly happy with themselves. Find out how to really, truly be happy. Okay. And I hope that you really got something tonight. Before I close, I want you, for a moment, to tell them where they can find you at on your social media, what you do. I know you said that at the beginning, but I want to give you space to be able to tell about your business and your ministry.
Yeah, sure. So you can so again, you can find me on Instagram at nataliapowers.life. And really I am just in a season where I am not negotiating what I know makes me happy.
That's good.
And with that being said, I am going after my purpose,
That's right.
you know? And while and this is another thing, okay? Our purpose is so profound. We'll try to put titles on it and say coach. We'll try to say, this position or this title or whatever. But really, just like God's glory is unsearchable and it's inexplicable, it's the same for us. And so we have to learn how to stop putting titles on our happiness. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's
But
all
yeah.
right.
So yes, you can find me at nataliapowers.life on
Awesome,
Instagram.
awesome.
Yes.
So again, everybody, you've heard it. We have definitely dug deep. We're gonna go a little bit deeper. I'm gonna work something out with her to try to see if we can get her on. Hopefully this month, but next month. I felt like we had a really good time tonight. Again, if you need that help, if you find yourself not truly being happy, you have my social media outlets. On all the social media outlets at DMP Speaks. You already have hers. She's already said hers. We are here to help you. We want to see you be the best version of yourself. So once again, thank you so much for your time. I hope that you have a blessed afternoon or evening wherever you're watching. a wonderful time and find somewhere to get some spiritual health, food, nourishment from the Word of God, because that's what's going to give you that true happiness. Everybody have a great night.
Good night.
Good night.